good times, you know. But just out of Goulburn town, like sort of Campbelltown or something, the cops pulled them over because one of the springs had sort of broken, and the truck was on a sort of a big lean, and the buggers didn't tell me. You remember I had a combi van back then?
Yeah.
Guess what they did? And I was dirty about it. They took my combi plates off my car.
Oh,
so real sneaky, and stuck it on the truck and drove to, you know what I mean? I was so angry. For years I was dirty about it. But anyway, turns out the guy driving the truck at the time, Westy, was wanted in New South Wales for, parking fines or some sort of warrants, petty stuff. But it was enough money that they took him to the nearest jail, which was Goulburn Jail. He rang the manager. You know, back in the days when there was no mobile phones and stuff, it was, we were on the road, and so he just went, okay, if I do 3 days in Goulburn Jail, that'll pay my fine off and I can get out, or wait until the boys show up in Goulburn, they'll bail me out. Anyway, so we finally get to Goulburn, and then we hear the news from MacGyver. Oh no, he's in Goulburn Super Max Jail, you know that. But this was 1991.
Right.
And we pull up outside Goulburn Jail, which, by the way, didn't even have like a surrounding perimeter fence sort of thing. It was just like this big brick. Think of a school, but a massive school. So it was just this huge building, but you could drive straight up to the walls. And next minute, I didn't even think. We're just, we're going into some sort of government jail system thing. Everything will be cool and not scary. As soon as we stopped, and there's just one big steel door, and the engine turned off, then I could hear all the men. I could hear just like, hundreds of them. And I just instantly got fear. Like inside there is some bad people with bad, desperate situations. Anyway, they opened this door, and he was like and I was expecting sort of, policeman or a certain sort of government system. But it was just sort of a warden sort of bloke. But behind him were all these dudes, like all these like jailbird blokes. And it just looked like mayhem. Like, it just sort of like all these dudes leering out going, what do you want? And we were all like long hair, leather jackets, total pussies, we were exactly who they didn't want to see, and they were sort of smiling at us going, hey, and I was like, and I hid in my chair, and I wish we didn't park so close to the bloody door, right? Anyway, so the message, and it was like that, a message, we're here to pick up, blah, blah, Westy.
In 2 kilometres, take exit onto 5 toward A3.
20 minutes goes by, and now I'm just here. I can hear all this yelling from the inside. It didn't all sound good. And the message comes back out. Westy says, if you want the keys, that was the keys to the truck, get me out of here. So we had to mess around for 24 hours to get him out, come up with money and blah, blah, blah.
All cash too.
And then we went back to the place, and it was exactly the same. All these dudes hanging out the door, and we get Westy out, and, mate, this dude was a grown man, like a big, strong bloke that you wouldn't mess with. But when he got out of that thing, he didn't speak a word to us. Like, something bad happened to poor old Westy, right? And he went, that's a bad place. That's the only words he said, and he got straight on a plane and went home.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. Like, I will never, touch wood, Greg, I go to jail. That's a bad scene, mate.
No, I'm with you.
But, probably the best thing that ever happened. I got a mate. He's not a mate. I got a friend of mine, and she's going out with a bikie.
Right.
But he's only a 20-year-old dude, and I look at him and I've met him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I want to say to him, I said, I don't know if you know what jail looks like, mate, but
take exit onto 5 toward A3.
But I just look at him and go, oh no, it can't be good for you. To be a bikie now, with all the press that and they're constantly getting hassled. So it's like, makes no sense.
1 kilometres, keep right on Gympie Road toward A3.
Because we don't know nothing about Zillmere. Hey? Have you lived in the south side most of your life? Where'd you grow up?
South side.
Yeah, but where were you born and all that?
Yeronga.
Right.
Which is the south side.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the north side's foreign country, mate, you know.
Whole deal.
Yeah. Yeah, born and bred south side, mate.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, love south side.
Yeah.
But you go across the north side, though. Get
In
lost.
350 metres, keep right on
These
Gympie
silly-sounding
Road toward
suburbs.
A3.
Where have we got here? Chermside, Everton Park, Sunshine Coast. What do you think of that one? Okay, which one do you prefer? You've done lots of four-wheel
Keep
driving
right
and
on
stuff.
Gympie Road toward A3.
Okay. You know, like back in the day, camping in Fraser and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think that's the advantage of... Like, when I think of Northside people, I think they're always going to...
North Coast.
Yeah. And so we're always going to the Gold Coast. But they do have that advantage of getting right into four-wheel driving and...
In
I've always
3.5
had that thought
kilometres,
anyway.
turn right onto Murphy Road.
But I just feel more comfortable on the south side, and I know the area, whereas I'm over here, you've virtually got to stick to roads you know, which are limited, you know, and now with GPS it's a lot better, but then GPS doesn't help you when you're in a truck, because they might send you down a street that's only suitable for cars, or, you know, or local traffic only, or, you know, whatever, and all these sort of things happen, but at least you get you around, you know. It's better than stopping and getting your Raffidex out and trying to find out where you are, you know. But you slowly learn the main drags and places like that. But yeah, it's always nice to be back on the south side, mate. You know, it's just that mental thing, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, here's one for you. Would you say, I'll put it this way, I remember driving that Titan truck, just one of the small, 3-tonners, but no aircon. I'd have to drive that thing for like months. It didn't have any air. It was a diner. And like a horrible thing, but it was like back in the day, there were less cars. The roads were felt like... I want to ask you, when you're driving a truck now, surely all the trucks are better. You've got aircon, so you're not so aggro.
Yeah.
People probably drive better because their cars are a little better. Like, do you see lots of dumb things because you're a professional driver?
Oh, yeah, what you do. I mean, people are people, and they're not going to change their basic... who they are, and they still, they get... I think most people on the road today are just frustrated, because there's traffic lights and heavy volume of traffic, and the traffic seems to be heavy all the time now, rather than in peak periods, and people just get so frustrated, and it forces them to do silly things and that sort of thing. But, you got to have your wits about you the whole time, in a heavy vehicle, because your braking distance and your turning ability and all those things are affected by weight, and but no, I think that people are still people, but I think they're more frustrated today than what they ever were, and this is causing problems and issues and that. But no, mate, it's it's just sit back and hop will come. But being in air conditioning, at least. You're definitely in a better state of mind. You know, I mean, you're not turned up by the heat, and in our game too, because we suffer a lot of dust. In the old days, mate, you used to be eating dust and sweating like a dog, and all these sorts of things.
Feeling dirty, feeling grimy,
feeling sticky, and your legs are stuck to the seat and all that sort of stuff. That's not cool.
So, say the Richlands job you're on now, in a tipper truck, how much weight is a load of, what's a typical load in weight?
Your legal load is in my truck 11.5 tonne, because my tare weight is heavy, but the total weight's 22.5 tonne. That's your legal carrying capacity, total weight. So,
and do truck brakes... I know I tried to get a truck licence once, and it was in the tipper, and they didn't have a lot of weight in the back, I remember, and I could not stop from locking the brakes up. It's like it was made... I was really surprised that the brakes were made, of course, for 20-tonne load, so when it was empty, I just couldn't, no matter what I did, and I was even racing cars back then, and I thought I knew everything, you know what I mean? But I was going, I cannot touch this light enough. It was sort of just really bang, really...
Well, nowadays they've got ABS and all that sort of stuff, which definitely helps, because when you're running empty, especially in wet weather and stuff like that, mate, it's dangerous, because they'll just lock up on you, and next thing you're doing 360s, so taking up 2 lanes or whatever, So it is dangerous. But now with the new stuff they got now with ABS and all that sort of gear, it certainly helps.
Yeah. What about automatic transmission? That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, mate.
In 1 kilometre, turn right onto Murphy Road.
The only thing that I've missed out on, I wanted my last truck I bought to be an automatic, but the deal was too good to pass up, so I bought this one, and it's manual again. But it's not so bad for interstate work and stuff like that. You don't change that many gears. But when you're doing site work and that, you're changing gears all the time, and that's where an automatic would have been the best, However,
What sort of gears? Just say if you were to drive with 11 tonnes on, and you're going to, in that site, you still had to do say 3 kilometre trip. What gear do you get up to?
Oh, well, see, you only had to do 20 k's on site most of the time.
Oh,
right.
So what gear do you put in? Because with high torque engines and...
Oh, well, in your manual gearbox, you got high range and low range in the box, and you might just get up to one gear in high range, that'll hold you at 20 k's an hour sort of thing.
As you said.
And... So it's just a pain having to change gears and constantly, because if you run into soft country, you got to go down gears to compensate for the soft country and stuff like that. Whereas with an automatic, you just put your foot in the accelerator, it does everything for you, So I agree. They are the way to go.
Yeah.
And they've got some really good automatic stuff out now. It's
your street car, is that 400 metres? It is. No, it's not the wrong one. Hang on. Put it this way, when we used to race Formula Fords and cars like that, I think most dudes that do, or any driving, you stuff that. The road car is an automatic. You just want to drive around. So you wouldn't run out and buy a manual car.
Turn right onto Murphy Road.
So you don't want to finish work doing thousands of gear changes, and then with your clutch, your leg must get busted, wouldn't it?
Oh, your leg gets tired, from constant changing all the time.
In 800 metres, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Murphy Road towards Zillmere.
If you were buying a car to go racing or something, okay, fine, you get a manual one. But I mean, most of the time nowadays you stop at traffic lights wherever you go. Yeah. So, there's not much of a thrill,
No.
You can't really wind them out to get the full effect of the manual box anyway,
And it's so physical, like having to pop your hip sort of to get that gear change happening.
Yeah.
And what sort of clutch has a truck got? Is it a hard...
No, it's air hydraulics, so it's a nice soft clutch.
Right.
Fortunately, in mine, but some of them have got mechanical clutches, and they are really hard work. Especially if you've got to hold in for a long time.
And and 2016. So I still remember the 80s, late 80s and 90s trucks. That would have been hard yakka.
Oh yeah, mate. Those mechanical clutches, they were hard on the leg, because if you've got to hold it in for long periods of time, because what happens is when some work you're doing
at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Murphy Road towards Zillmere.
Gear and hold your clutch in. It's.
Would you say? I kind of had this thought, but I'm talking to a dude that's always driving here. I kind of thought that...
In 1.4 kilometres, turn left onto Dunsford Street towards Zillmere Road.
That maybe with all the sitting, look at us in this car seat position now, what it actually does, and then if you... I'll put it this way. When I was driving an hour and a half to get to work, and then sitting in an office chair all day, that kind of happened for about 3 or 4 years, or even more, to be honest. But I felt like my body actually changed shape to suit that.
Yeah.
And I was definitely getting sore backs. There must be something in it. We're made to walk around all day.
Oh, yeah. 1 kilometre, turn
thousands of
left
years
onto
of walking around
Dunsford
all day,
Street
and then next
towards
minute,
Zillmere Road.
do you get typical pains? Like,
well, if I sit in the truck and we do a long spat